Hello, Warriors. Good turnaround Tuesday. Anything pressing, team? Before I say hello to everyone. How
Did you ask if there's anything pressing?
Yeah.
There is.
Okay. So let's go
We have the Bank of Japan tonight.
tonight. Okay. That's
Yeah, we have Bank of Japan, we have Chinese PMIs, we have Australian retail sales and inflation data. Today we have consumer confidence, we have JOLTS jobs openings later today. And then after the close, we have Microsoft earnings, and we also have AMD. And I think those are going to be kind of closely watched. That's as much pressing as I can think of right off the top of my head.
that's a lot of stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks, Blake. So
you're
Blake's
welcome.
Blake's in tune. He's always in tune. Let's see. So I could say hello to everyone. Hi, Sinatra. How are you? Mike, Patrick, Blake. Good morning, James, Alexander. Turnaround Tuesday. I don't know what's going to reverse today. Marcus, Glenn, Kay is here. Hugo, hey, nice to see your name. Paul, Saloon rate cut this week. Okay, so you're looking for a surprise. Is that because you're long S&Ps and rode them all the way down here? Hi, Kurt. I hope you're right. So here we go. Yeah, I know you. All right, you got quiet the last week or so. You're okay, right? That's what everyone always asks people when they know they might be the wrong way. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. My P&L's not so great today, but I'm okay. Hey,
Wait
Kurt,
a
how?
second. So why is that? I'm sorry. Like what in your P&L that's not working out?
Oh,
Just
I'm
curious.
just joking.
Oh. Hey,
Yeah,
well, I
I've
mean,
actually I've kind of been in the zone, but it'd be fine with me if the Fed surprised everyone with a cut.
ooh, that would
Because
be great.
because I want, I need a 600 to 700 point rally in Nasdaq to put my stuff back out there. So,
Do you no,
uh,
I gotta ask you this question because I'm gonna I'm a little conflicted.
no, just tell me.
But
That's what this
but
business does to you.
well, let's just say, and the chances of this happening, I would venture to guess is less than 10%. But let's say the Fed decided for whatever reason they wanted to cut rates because they say, well, due to an election cycle, we just kind of wanted to get it out of the way. We are seeing some softness in some data, which I don't even know
Yeah.
really what data they are, but let's just say they
Well,
are
they probably know what the NFP is already.
and they see metrics that we don't, and they have
Yeah. Yeah.
how many staff
They have the
economists do they
NFP.
have? They have about 1,000 Kman sitting around, right? And
Impossible. There's only one.
well, jokes aside, though, they have a bunch of staff economists that are looking at all this data. They're dicing up all the information. They're like, let's say they just decide, we're going to surprise the market with a cut. Theoretically, it should help the market. It should allow the market to rally. However, there's so many people that believe this, and I'm not sure if I'm really in the camp that, oh, as soon as we get a rate cut, we sell stocks. I mean, that's like because historically that's what happens because they're cutting rates because when the market sees a rate cut coming, it's for a reason, and just because
Yeah.
quote unquote soft data, so stocks should go down because we're heading into a recession. Whatever the argument is, that's like the general argument. I don't necessarily subscribe to that because if they are bringing down rates just to bring rates down to what they consider as a nominal rate because policy is too tight, I don't necessarily think that stocks are going to go down, but there's a lot of people that will short the stock market. So if they did do a cut, would we get a spike higher? I guess here's the question. And
Yeah.
for
And will
you,
it
and
fade? Will it
yeah, I
stick
think you
or
get
will
you
it
get you get
fade?
a spike higher in stocks and then you fade it. I think that's the way to play it. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't care how it gets to my levels. I don't care if it's a Fed. I don't care if it's the NFP. I don't care if it's nothing.
Yeah.
So, so here we go. Yeah, historically, Patrick's right. Jeremy Grantham, who everyone knows is perma bear. But the guy knows some things. He's seen a lot, right? And he says his doctrine is the market doesn't bottom for another 6 months after the first cut. So, but then I saw like Dave H. Contrarian. Saw a tweet by him the other day, and he's just calling this, like you were saying yesterday, just a normal pullback. 5% in S&Ps, 10 in Nasdaq, and this is a break to buy for the move into seventh thou in the S&P. I forgot what his Nasdaq target was, but these are just predictions, and I'm trying not to have an attachment to it. And I say, yeah, the S&Ps, unless they take out 5,400, they could
Yeah.
make a new high, but I don't think Nasdaq will. This was a 5 wave decline. Okay, they can't. The eliticians, some of them, they can't find five. You got a 5 wave decline in semis, which led the way up and are leading the way down. Okay, they didn't rally yesterday. The market didn't. Even the market didn't rally much yesterday. Nvidia, uh, if you had taken your own advice and sold it, Blake, when you said up
Boob
there,
top.
yeah, right. This doesn't look too good, does it? So,
No, it's the boob
yeah,
top.
yeah.
Boob top.
So, and even the stars, like Apple, that doesn't look so great. Amazon failed. It tried to rally back to the false breakdown at 191. Maybe it gets there.
I
But
I would actually argue that that Microsoft is very and on some very critical support. It's just channel support, but really key support right now.
yeah,
And don't forget earnings are tonight. So
yeah. So I'd love to see that earnings could take it up. I don't know if we'll see a new high, but at least now, when I was top picking the market before, it was a theory, right? But we had good reasons. We had key reversals, weekly reversals. There were technical reasons, not just I'm a bear. So now there's even more reason to try it on a retrace because you know we have something to play it against. So that's my rationale, and I'm being rational about it, not emotional about it. There's technical evidence to give it a try, more so now than a couple weeks ago.
yeah.
But I know everyone's saying it's normal. Probably maybe it is. Maybe it's a break to buy. I'm going to attempt shorts at fib retracements. See what happens. I still think there's a lot of people long. That wasn't enough. That was not enough to panic uh, people out. You take out 5,400 in the S&Ps, that's a different story. Um, you know, that'd just be more technical evidence. But Dave could be right. Tom Lee could be right. They've been right, and which makes me not want to do it because they've been right. But you know what? They're also due to be wrong. And I think there's still, a lot of complacency considering what's happening everywhere in the world, let alone here in the U.S. So we'll see what earnings do. Give me a rally. Um, Yen's continuing here. What do you guys think? Let's go to Kman. The action on Yen still trying
Morning,
to
Dale. Morning,
recover.
everybody.
Good morning. I know that Blake. These might even be um, the levels that you were talking about yesterday, Blake.
Yeah. Oh,
And go ahead, Kman.
yeah, around 155. That's where we're stabilizing. Let's say in the middle of that 152 and 158, and that's where we get in. And on your equity markets, watch what happens after the Bank of Japan, because we've seen this get me out of everything in the yen has sparked big moves on a lot of instruments, right?
Yeah,
Including the equity markets. So I think the
right.
reaction tomorrow after the Bank of Japan will be a good indicator of what may happen, because a lot of the faster money got out of a lot of positions, and I think they're waiting for a signal, perhaps even from the Bank of Japan, to either get back in, or if the Bank of Japan really steps on the hard pedal, and does a lot, like in really screwing back a lot on the bond buying, and hiking by 15 BPs at least, for instance, you may see a follow through on equity markets as well. So I think the
Meanwhile,
Bank of
yeah,
Japan has a big role to play here.
yeah. So basically, you're right. The decline in the yen kind of matches the decline
Yeah,
in the markets.
because they
So
were hedged all over the place.
right,
They were hedged all over the place. Short yen versus long
right.
everything else.
Yeah, and so people are saying that trade will come back, that this may be over.
Very
But I don't
interesting.
know. I don't like the fact that it for a continuation move, that it was this steep, that it pulled back to that very important support at 52.
Hmm.
So actually your argument for a continuation decline in equities would be you must be looking for a breakdown under
Yeah,
152. Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
And that would take it to 44, 42,
Start
and the
with
market
48,
would sell
40,
off with it.
49. But I don't
48.
know if it goes down all the way down to 142. There's still, unless really that bond buying thing goes very, they push back. I mean, they push it down very hard. What the big
Maybe we're going
mechanism
to
are asking
form a
for.
right shoulder here. Okay, here's your left shoulder
Yeah,
as the
158
head.
is your level to the top side, and
Yeah. This
rewriting
actually
right to the middle.
traded 160, but yeah, some type of right shoulder developing here.
Yeah. But it's the same as when you say that people are looking for higher or lower equity markets. I mean, that in the yen, it's now the same thing, because a lot of faster positions have been really annihilated or screwed back. But the interesting thing is that I read from two different banks actually, that have been posted in our room as well, is that real money we're still selling yen on those big rallies, and that coincides with that 152. So I really think if 152 goes, it's then we are going to go for perhaps a move for longer, and then you will have the rest of the market reacting to it as well, because it's not so much the yen as a currency, but it's what the Japanese investor community represents worldwide as investors. They are massive, okay? So
Yeah.
they will be dragging stuff around.
Kman, it's interesting you mentioned this, and good morning, by the way. I have conversations with, like, for example, the gentlemen that are coming on F.A.C.E on the second from the Gelber group. I've been texting with Tommy, who's the friend of my friend that I used to trade with, and these guys are all ex-bank traders. He was at Lehman and 19 years ago, and then came over to Gelber. He's been trading there for 19 years. You guys will meet him on Thursday. But we were talking about just how big that 152 level is. This is 2 weeks ago, and the interesting thing is when you're talking to people like this, these guys know everybody on the trade desk in New York, that they still stay in touch with all of their friends that they've traded with now for 25, 30 years, and everybody's circulating about how big these levels are. And that's why I love having the network of traders that we have, is because everybody's looking at that area, and we know how big it is due to not only banks referencing it, but also when you hear the community really talking about it. And that's what makes ForexAnalytix and what we do very, very important, because of all the connections that we all have, and different research that we do. And so anyway, I just want to mention that, just because it is really the level that I think that everybody needs to be watching, as you're pointing out.
Okay, watch a snoke for a top. So
You know, it's
think about the
interesting.
same. Yeah.
Kman, your favorite person, Weston just tweeted something with a big thing that says dollar yen 152 just a second ago.
My favorite my favorite person.
I know you used to listen to him quite a bit. Anyway, just
Just
he just tweeted something about, and his big thumbnail says dollar yen 152.
mm.
So funny.
Yeah,
So I guess
he
that's
must be,
that.
you know what? It's the opposite. He's listening to our shows and then he tweets something about it.
Maybe.
Hey, I've been noticing quite a bit on different media that everybody's silent, but then once the flow show or face comes on, then all of a sudden they tweet about something strange, right?
Yeah, it's weird how that happens.
Well, is what the highest form of a compliment, isn't it? Imitation.
Uh-huh. Going behind the back, you mean?
Yeah,
Well, that's part
claiming,
that's
yeah,
part of
our
the
world.
people. Yes, and that's
Of
just
course it
happens in
is.
our world. And K-Man, I know you're fairly new to our world, but it is really it's been that way for years. And I used to get so Dale, remember I used to get so pissed at people years
Yeah,
ago when we first started doing this together, and I'm just like,
yeah,
now I just kind of say, oh, screw it, how
yeah,
can you control it,
yeah,
so.
yeah. Whatever.
Except when people steal my bias chart. That's where I draw the line. So
Shake the dust off your feet.
that's right.
That's the way I look at it. Okay, so we want to talk about these metals at all? Okay, I still think gold has a shot to break
Mm.
down here.
Yeah, it's holding below a trend line, just
Yeah,
at around below just below 24. So short time it's holding below there.
this was a
Personal
good eye
obviously
by
going down,
Blake.
but let's see.
Yeah. Well, someone in the room, I think in the chat room, said that silver here was 50% back. And what I see is
That was Michael Wiseman, who
okay,
Dale.
yeah.
He actually bought in our chat room yesterday silver right at the lows, and he picked it
Nice.
up right at the 50% retracement. I actually sent an update and gave him a nice little hat tip yesterday. Yesterday, excuse me, as he was picking it up there. So good job, Michael. I know he's listening in right
I'd watch this line for, third drive. I'm a one trick pony. Watch that. Okay. So I guess we have it cased. The fate of the market and the yen are inextricably tied together.
Yeah,
So,
I think so. Yeah.
and
So
that would mean lower yields happening at the same time too. Maybe. I mean, you look at this 10-year, and this is rare. You actually
Hanging
had a
around.
gap. You actually had a gap yesterday. Okay.
Mm.
Pretty rare. Go back, look for gaps in the 10-year. I don't see any. Do you? Okay, so this was Friday's close. We gapped
You have one on
lower.
the 15th
Yeah,
or
it's like a
on the
breakaway
13th.
gap.
13th.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
under 415, 4%'s the next target.
yeah, I think the bigger mover will be the job report in than the FOMC. That's my
Okay.
view.
Yeah. Um,
well, Dale,
anything and
I'm gonna
go
take
ahead.
over here if you don't mind.
No, go ahead. Any biases into month end? Okay. That we
No,
should.
very mixed because as I said yesterday, S&P is trading around the opening of the month. So if you look at that as a main indicator, there are other indicators as well. There's bonds as well, but you look at that as a main indicator. I don't think there's any big signals this month.
Okay.
No, I mean
Isn't
it's going
the
to be
biggest
very
signal that
minor
that
on
I
other currencies.
biggest signal that I came across was sell dollars versus basically buy yen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
because the
was.
Nikkei came down.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, Eric says, Blake, and never forget the time you used that guy's blue trend line. That was funny. That I was so irritated with that. That was so funny. Anyway, yeah, that was my trend line, damn it. My trend line,
Who
not his
was it?
trend line.
Ricardo
I
borrowed
think
that from you?
yes, I think you're right. You're
He was
right.
one of your favorite people.
Yeah, actually,
Uh,
his son still listens in here, so he's still here. So,
oh,
but
wow. Yeah,
pretty
he
funny
told me
that
about his son. Yeah.
yeah, he's been in our community for years now. It's but
Okay.
I it was that day. Yes, that is correct. Hey, let's talk about this real quick. You know, I speaking of past work on the this weekend, I spent 10 minutes talking about how I want to trade the dollar yen. By the way, this is the Microsoft support, Dale,
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
you can see it. Channel 618 retracement, real key support, right? It would be
Yes.
yesterday's lows or this week's lows. Um, but I want to talk a little bit about the dollar yen because the dollar yen has now backed up to the 155, went as high as the 155.20 level. I had an order to sell dollar yen last night ahead of 155.20. I got filled, and it looks like we might actually break it this morning. We get some positive U.S. data. We have JOLTS data. We have consumer confidence, conference board consumer confidence numbers coming out. That might push us to the 155.70. This is going to be my last. I got two positions that I want to take ahead of the BOJ and ahead of the Fed. So we have the BOJ tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that, Kman, because he's here. Hopefully, he's going to be able to stay up tonight for this. But I've been wanting to sell the dollar yen ahead of the BOJ into this level, ahead of the Fed and non-farm payroll, and for an eventual break below 152, whether that comes to play this week or not. I don't know, but this is the level that I wanted to get short. So I've already started to stake my claim. And if you're in the trades room, you already know that because you can see my positions and I put them up there. One of the other things is we had a pattern in play in the dollar yen that closed overnight at 155.10 from the 152 level. That is now completed as well. So the dollar yen, Dale, you talk about being in the zone. I love two-way price action, and so when we're seeing two-way price action like this is like my playground as well.
Yeah.
This is when I like to really get to the markets. But yeah, this is the 38% retracement, and we do have the BOJ overnight now. Kman, the majority of economists are starting to, well, I think it's more like 65%, correct me if I'm wrong, see the chance of a 10 basis point hike from the BOJ. What are your thoughts going into the BOJ tonight?
I well, it's a tough question. I think what I think is that they raised 15 BPs and that they cut the bond buying by 1 or 1.5 trillion. They are not going to go the whole way for the bond buying straight away because, as I've been saying, Bank of Japan is probably the even if they have the name, the least independent bank, central bank of the developed world, because they look so much at the government finances, right? So I don't think they will want to shock the government with reducing the bond buying too much. But they could go and they should actually do the 15 BPs hike. Now, there is some,
And can I
yeah,
just actually just say something really quick? If they go 15, that is more aggressive than what the market is expecting. And if they
well,
did do that, we should theoretically get
mm,
a pretty big bid in the yen, meaning the dollar yen should drop back below 154, 153.50.
yeah,
Wouldn't
and
you think?
yeah, the thing is, we've got you wait at 3 hours later, and
Sure.
that is something that the market is going to watch because I was going to say we really have to look at both the decision and what Ueda will say because he's probably going to give us an idea about the rate path further and also the bond buying reduction further. So could be a case that we see one move after the Bank of Japan statement, which is like and around somewhere between 3 a.m. Around 3 a.m. GMT. And then another reaction after UEDA. Wouldn't be the first time that we see it. But yeah, 15 BPs and a solid reduction of bond buying, that's a strong signal. If they would only do 10 BPs, and I've even seen some Japanese voices saying that they could hold rates still for this meeting, that would be really a surprise to the other side. And then I think, yeah, we're back at 158 in a flash.
Oh
So
yeah, I agree with that. I think the
um,
dollar yen would be right back here, no
it's
problem.
really going, I think it's going to be a big mover. Whatever happens, it's going to be a big mover.
Yeah, and I agree with that. If they do not move on rates at all and just tinker with the GGB purchases, it will be trading way up here. So that's why you have to mind your risk. I mean, everybody, if you're staking your claim wherever you're deciding to do it, make sure that you have your stops, because there's a good chance you can blow past your stops, and then you're going to get a worse price, and very thin liquidity. So that is entirely possible as well.
Yeah, and why am I
So
saying that there may be a second wave coming is that imagine they do the 15 BPs and then you wait at 3-4 hours later says like, well, we've done 15 BPs because that is now warranted, and perhaps even because they did say it in prior statements, due to the yen weakness. Because let's face it, we came down 10 big figures from the highs, then we rallied 3. I mean, overall, the yen is still very weak, right?
yep.
So if he then comes up and say they do 15 BPs and he says like, well, it's not warranted that we do anymore, then you could see like a big move to the other side if the
Yeah.
market bought the yen at first, right? So
Yeah, we'll still
really
see
have
158.
we really have to take those two things into account and not take for granted the move that we have on the back of the Bank of Japan decision straight away.
Yeah, because and you said because he speaks. Oh, well, first of all, the rate decision for those, just to make it really simple for people. I know Kman says
Around,
3 o'clock, yeah, noon Tokyo time.
yeah,
Figure out what time that is for you guys. Just Google it. You know
Angela
where.
Angela has a good point. You guys see that in chat?
Uh,
It's a thought. She's the last
if there
comment.
are the de-risking related flows back into Jam in
It's like, is it the chicken or the egg? Is it the mark? Is it stocks or is it the yen? Which one's
I mean,
yeah,
wagging
but
the
the thing is,
dog's
Angela,
tail?
is also that Bank of Japan will induce more de-risking flows or not,
yeah.
because it's also a case of that the Bank of Japan is a driver. It's not the market that de-risks all those flows, because that something else was really going on, unless, as I've been saying many times, the rest of the world falls apart around Japan. Then you're going to have de-risking flows for different reasons. But I mean, here, Bank of Japan will be one of the drivers, whether they get back into risk or not.
And just I know this is not regarding the yen, but we just have a couple of minutes coming up. We do have economic data coming out this morning, but if you want further conversations on the yen, make sure you're jumping into the ForexAnalytix chat room. Also need
The
to
yen
mention
room.
this. I need to mention this. We have just a couple more days left in the month of July. If you want to take an assessment and have a one-on-one consultation with me, for the month of July. That is the offer. So make sure you take advantage of it. And we've had a lot of people do it. Let support know. I've been emailing people directly. If matter of fact, there's a few people that have not responded to me. If you're listening in and you're like, I never got an email from Blake, check your spam folder or other inbox. Sometimes, my email might have gone there. But make sure you take advantage of this because the TFP offer is only good for another 2 days. But I do want to talk about really quick some of this economic data that just came out. So we had German inflation data come in a little hotter than expected here in the Eurozone, and the euro is really trying to stabilize around this 200 DMA, 50 DMA. You can see it right here, but we're in this flag pattern, and notice the sterling, we hit the top of the flag and we've come off too. So some nice chart patterns that are developed here, especially ahead of all the economic data that we have coming up. Kman, how do you feel about the JOLTS data that's coming out today?
Yeah, last month it didn't really do a lot, but there is an overall move for the job market to cool down a bit. So yeah, last month it was just coming out just above, yeah, the 8 million mark, but not really doing that much, if I recall correctly. It's going to be interesting to watch what the ratio is between openings and what and the quits and stuff. So if that continues to show weakness or weaker data, then we get over to the ADP, and then perhaps on Friday we will finally see a weak NFP.
And
It's just guesswork again.
yeah, and it's like the overall trend of the U.S. economic data has been slowly getting a
Yeah.
little worse. Hey, I also wanted to mention tonight, just for those of you like, I'm going to be around an Asian trade tonight. I'll be very active in the ForexAnalytix community. The Aussie dollar is developing this bearish pennant, and you can see we're right on pennant support pretty much. We have Australian CPI and retail sales. Now the market has been expecting the RBA to be a little bit more hawkish. But if you guys haven't seen copper is fresh lows like this morning. I mean, it is getting pummeled. So, I mean, if you're trying to trade the Aussie on the long side, it's very difficult because you have copper just, like I said, just getting killed. Look, fresh trend lows right now. So it'll be really interesting because if the Australian data, if the inflation data, retail sales data, if they come in below expectations, we can see another leg lower in the Aussie. I mean, we stopped at the 618 retracement. You can see it here, but that bearish pennant that you see points to a lot lower levels. So you have to be a little careful with the Aussie. Now, I don't want to be bullish right now, but a break back above 65.85 would be a bullish sign for me. And that would have to coincide with, strong data tonight, which again, retail sales and inflation data happening at the exact same time tonight. For those of you that have any Aussie exposure, lots going on. Especially we have Microsoft earnings after the close. AMD, you guys just saw a look on Microsoft, and I think the stock market is just waiting for the Mag 7 releases, which we got 4 of the Mag 7 this week. So Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Meta all coming out in earnings in the next 2 days, 48 hours. So there you go. Kman, I want to thank you for holding down the fort at the Flow Show. If you guys are not listening to Kman in the morning in European hours, you should. That's free every day. And Kman, you had Grega here the last couple of days, yeah?
Yeah, Gregor is with me. So for the people interested in Elliott waves, he's our headmaster surfer. So
yeah, there you go. And remember, if you're in the ForexAnalytix community, in about 45 minutes, we'll be doing the morning edge, where we make up the bias chart every single day. We go through all these instruments and find out all the key levels that really matter to the market. So make sure you're logged in listening there. Dale, I know you have an interview, so I want to pass it over to you.
Well, Kirk isn't here, but
oh, he isn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let me start. Let me also say, don't forget on Thursday. That's in 2 days from today, right at this moment in time at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We will have the Gelber Group. If you guys, this is like, let me pull up the actual website here. This is an exciting trading competition that's free to apply. If you're in the U.S., if you're not in the U.S., don't apply, because they're this first round, they're only doing U.S. customers because they're getting so many applicants. They're going to accept a certain amount, which I think the number that they originally told me is around 20 to 30 people. And then, out of those people, you can win 20,000, 10,000, or 5,000. But you don't even if you don't win, that doesn't mean that they won't offer you a job. That's the cool thing, is they're digging into your process, exactly how you trade, how do you manage risk. they're just we a trader funding program run a virtual prop firm. They have a physical prop firm, and they have analysts that are actually combing through your data. Like I look at people's trades through TFP, but we have such, very basic rules that I don't have to, look so closely at risk. They are looking at more than that, because when you're trading their capital, it's more than the amounts that we offer on TFP. So and if you're familiar with Brian Gelber, he was in the original Market Wizards. He's been running this prop firm for like 25 years. And if you want to look at their what their physical locations look like this is just to see what their operations look like. This looked like our office in Greenwich, Connecticut, and this one here looked like our Florida office. This is their different offices in around the world. So so make sure you check out the Gelber group. It's pretty cool, and they'll be here on Thursday. And a couple of the traders from there that are helping run the competition will be with us on Thursday. You get to meet them in person. They don't have social media presences as most people that I've met in the city and in Greenwich. They don't either. They just follow all of us and listen to what we're saying, but they don't keep social media presence themselves. So you'll have an interesting time getting to meet them in person. So Dale, your guy is not here, no?
No,
Okay.
Kurt Spano.
Okay.
Anyway, for those of you who are entering this contest, I wonder if you could request Amsterdam, but it might affect your trading. I would have requested a younger guy. When I was younger, I would have said Amsterdam for sure, man.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Like
So,
send me there. Send me there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there you go. There, check out
Maybe their
and
best traders are there. Who knows?
yeah, I mean, maybe their most fun traders are there. Hey, real quick, since we're waiting on Kirk Spano, and if he's not here, Kman, number one best idea, not 10 best ideas, number one best idea for today. What are you thinking?
Today,
Yeah,
take a nap.
take a nap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see too much really to do right here and now, because we've got pretty big events coming up. So, okay, one trade idea. If the US consumer beats, stay long dollar CAD.
Okay. All right. Very good. Dollar CAD right up against it's in a nice ascending channel, right into really key resistance here. So yeah, staying long dollar CAD, especially while it's above like 138, maybe 30 or so.
Yeah,
And
790, 38.10. Yeah.
Yeah, and look at this euro. The euro's getting right back to lows. And my 2 cents is you got to buy the euro on dips here. If it trades below 108, buy it below 108. That's my idea. So Dale, what are you thinking?
I like it. Because I think the Dixie only has maybe another, I don't know, 20 to 40 points left in it to where I want to sell it. So I agree with you, Blake, because there's even a chance, a small chance,
You
that
saying there's a chance?
Euro pound might be turning. Even if there's a new low, if you put up the daily, one more low will not confirm. So if we're going to get a turn in EG, the euro's the one you want to be long over the pound.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
Dumb and dumber. Dumb and dumber.
We're close. I mean, pull up your daily on the euro pound. See that? 1, 2, maybe one more, and look where it stopped. So I know a lot of guys are looking for 82, but new lows are going to really see the divergence you have already from the prior 2 lows. All I need is one more.
All right. Give Dale a fresh new low, and he's going to get long euro sterling and euro all the way around. So
yeah.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here with us today. Sorry, Kurt doesn't look like he's going to show up. I'm sure Dale's going to circle back and get him back on here.
I'm going to give him hell, man.
He's an interesting dude to have on. He's he's a good guy.
Yeah,
so.
I wanted to ask him about Iran.
Okay. All right.
Because
Well,
Iran's back on the table, I think, Blake, with what's going on, that missile that Hezbollah denied, and Netanyahu coming here last week, and then that happened, and
so you're
talking about,
saying you're saying we should be buying crude oil right here at the 78% retracement. Fresh
yeah,
lows, divergent relative strength, buy it here at 78 because Middle East is in play and we're looking for a move back above 80.
I'd go out and this is something I'd go out and buy some time and buy some uh, calls on the oil, so I can be wrong for a week or even longer and still make money if that event. That's how I would trade that event,
All
not with
right.
futures.
All right. Well, I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Well, Dale, Kman, thank you, gentlemen. Dale, I'm going to pass it over to you and you can wrap it up.
All right, thank you, Musketeers. And I didn't say Mouseketeers,
Oh.
although they are slashing ticket prices at Disneyland. So
Dude,
that's another, huh?
did you see that video? Somebody like a ticker history when Disney first opened, it was $1 for adults, 50
Oh
cents per
gosh,
child back
wow,
in 1950, whatever it was, 55.
wow. Yeah,
Crazy, right?
you weren't born yet. You
I
couldn't
was
go.
not even a
I,
twinkle in my father's teenage
yeah,
eye.
but anyway, it's middle of the summer, so for these amusement, it's not just Disneyland. There, people, you know, uh, aren't going. It's expensive. Like you were even talking about taking your family just to a movie is $150.
My sister and her husband just took their kids to Legoland and they spent for a week in Carlsbad, which you know
Yeah,
very well,
yeah,
Dale.
yes.
They spent like $8,000 for a week in Carlsbad.
Oh my God. Yeah, so
Crazy, right?
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to deflate this bubble, or we're going to blow it up so we're all bubble boys. Anyway, listen, everyone, take stock of your what you're doing here, whether it's your full-time thing or part-time thing, and ask yourself, how can I get better? Because there are historic moves. There's always been moves, but you have to admit that this time in history, there could be huge moves, implications with the dollar, with metals, with equities. Get ready. And the way to get ready is invest in yourself, find a place to learn, to get better, to hone your craft. Okay. And you hone it by spending a lot of time, can't be lazy, surrounded by either doing your own research and collaborating with people who are doing their own research. And it's almost like quantum analysis that, you know, you end up with more information than you would have on your own and learn more just being around other people. I do every time um, a few of us get together here on Face. I come away with something that I didn't have before the show started, and that's only a half an hour. You need to be doing it hours a day, 4, 5, 6 hours a day. The guys that have gotten good, they spend, they work a business, but they spend 8, 10 hours immersed in the market with other pros. And that's why you go, he didn't hesitate pulling the triggers there. He has confidence in what he's doing. It's because they put in the time, lived through adversity, and have found a community that makes their trading better. Just that simple. So, be a great time to join August, September, everything. So, I'm just trying to guide you. Okay. So if it's not ForexAnalytix, find another place if it's, suits you. But don't try and be a hero on your own. There's a reason why all these big brokerage firms have mastermind meetings, Dalio and brokerage firms where they get their brokers to listen to analysts and different things because it can't all come from you. Okay. If it does, um, it's just going to be your cycle. You're not growing. So the way to grow is to collaborate. And that's the end of my homily today. So everyone have a good turnaround Tuesday. And I know what I'm getting ready to do. Get ready for the dollar. You see 105 prints, even 90, close enough for government work. I'll be selling Dixie, risking like 106.30. And this is it. I mean, either the dollar's going to turn good and start closing back over that level, or if it fails from here, it's going to be a pretty good move to the downside. And I guess that should be risk positive. We'll see. I think it may not be. So here we go. Have a great day. And who's going to join today? Marcus? Are you a subscriber?
Oh, he's with us every day.
Okay, so Marcus puts in the time.
Yes, he does.
Patrick, I know you think you know everything. Have you subscribed? You need to diversify away from yourself. Anyway, I need to diversify away from myself. And just don't count your pips, count your blessings, nonstop, okay? See you guys tomorrow. I'll have Michelle Schneider. She's very reliable. Mish at Market Minute will be with us. I'm going to try and get her to show her charts instead of just talking head. And see everyone then.
See ya.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you, Blake. See you, Kay. Adios, everyone. You're welcome, AJ.